Hail, new adventurer! Let's create your character. Welcome to the character creation screen. Here you will get to choose your character's race, class, weapons, armor, and a few other specifics to make a unique character just for you. At any time, you may scroll through the different menus to see all of the different options in each of the different sections. And you can click on any of those options to see more specifics about that particular choice, the pros and cons to each of them. Let's get started. First up, let's select your character's race. Now, in this game, you have the option to play as many different races. You can choose a human, an elf, a gnome, a dwarf, an orc, a goblin, a vampire, and many others. Feel free to scroll through the menu. Oh, you have selected a new feature. This is the randomizing button. That means that at any time you may hit randomize and the game will randomly select one of the options for you. Feel free to change the option that the game chooses for you at any time. Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. Oh, the game has selected Undead Swamp Hag as your race. Would you like to confirm? Are you sure? Are you sure you want that one? I mean, there are lots of, different options when it comes to your race. You don't have to choose what the random button chooses for you, Undead Swamp Hag. Okay, that's sure. If that's how you want to play, then that's great. Yeah, there's pros and cons to all of the options. So, yeah, I'm sure that there are some good things about being an undead swamp hag. Okay, well, let's make you into an undead swamp hag, shall we? Just hold nice and still. I'm just gonna come and sort of rearrange these facial bones here to make sure that they line up with the structure of an undead swamp hag. There we go. And of course, you'll also have to be green. There we go. And some nice stringy hair. Not much hair there, but there's a little bit usually. And then shrink you down a little bit. There you go. Undead swamp hags are not very big. They're in the small class for creatures. Are you sure this is what you want? It's okay if you want to change. I mean, I know the randomizing button is fun just to, kind of see what the options are, but you don't have to stick to it. All right. No, that's fine. Okay. Undead Swamp Hag. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Now, let's select your character's class. Classes are very important, as this will determine your character's abilities. You may choose between Paladin, Ranger, Monk, Rogue, Druid. Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. The game has selected Bard. So you're an undead swamp hag, and now you're gonna be a bard? Are you sure? I mean, bards usually, they thrive on performance, music or reciting, poetry or verse or things like that. And they often usually, depend on charisma a lot. And as an undead swamp hag, you don't have great charisma. I'm just saying, maybe you would be more, better with a class like rogue, or even like a barbarian or a druid. That could be you want to stick with what the randomize chose. You want to be a bard, an undead swamp hag bard. Okay. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Next, let's select your armor. You may choose between heavy metal armor, light studded armor, stealthy leather armor, or a selection of many different kinds of robes or other garb, depending on the class that you chose. Oh, you want to randomize that one too? Okay, great. Randomizing. The game has selected that doesn't even look like armor. Hold on, let me go get it. Are you sure? Are you sure that this is what you want? This doesn't even look like armor. Who wears this? I mean, really, what good would this actually do in a fight? It's not tough. It's not arrow proof or anything. What's the point of something like this? You sure you want to stick with this? I mean, this isn't gonna, give you much protection in a fight, and it doesn't have any, bonuses to magical attacks or anything like that. It's just a little shirt thing. Okay. Are you you're really sure about this whole randomizing thing? I mean, you don't have to keep what the game chooses when you hit the randomize button, It's just sort of a fun idea that gets you going, but you don't have to choose that. Okay, all right. No, that's perfectly fine. Not everyone likes to optimize their characters when they start out. That's totally fine. Of course, you're welcome to make any choices that you would like. I'm not sure how. I mean, there's some really cool armor choices. There's lots of like the cool leather that can keep you, more stealthy. Or if you want to be more of the kind of frontline fighters, there's lots of different styles of the metal plate armor. There's chainmail. There's the great robes for the wizards, and you're sticking with this. Okay. Sure. All right. Let's get this on you then, shall we? Okay. Hold still then. Let me just this there. Yeah. Okay. That doesn't look creepy at all on an undead swamp hag. No, you look great. Okay. Sure. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Next, let's select your character's weapon. There are many different choices, and each one has a different fighting style. This one is mine, an elven greatsword. You may choose to have a greatsword, a two-handed sword, a short sword, or many other options, including a bow for archery, a set of precision daggers, a crystal wand to utilize the elements, or a wand to use spells from books. There are also many. Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. The game has selected a stick. It's it's a stick. It's not even, long. I mean, there's a staff that you could maybe use, a monk or a wizard. They might use staffs or something like that, but this isn't long enough to be a staff. There's not even like a club or an axe on the head of it. I mean, I guess you could kind of use it for bludgeoning damage, but are you sure that you want this one? I mean, like I said, you don't have to pick what the randomizing option gives you. There's lots of really, really cool options in this game. There's so many amazing weapons that you can choose from. You don't have to stick with the stick, You're really going for it with this randomized thing, huh? Okay, well, let's at least look what the stats for this is, huh? Maybe it's actually really cool. You never know. Maybe it's like a magic stick or something. No, there's really nothing special about this. It's literally just a stick. It doesn't even feel like that sturdy of a stick. It's like there's termite damage and stuff on here. You're sure this is what you want? Okay, it's your character. Well, here you go, I guess. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Next, let's select your character's headgear. There are many different types of headgear in the game. Many of them are protective, like different kinds of helmets or leather cowls. There are also different options for decorative headgear, like a tiara. Many of the tiaras also have different types of abilities. This one grants you a +1 to spellcasting. Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. The game has selected the game has selected this one. It's a little mushroom hat. Isn't that cute? That'll look great with your everything. This is it's not made of leather even. It's not gonna protect you from anything. Let's see, no, it's not gonna grant you a +1 to anything. It's just a hat. It's just a cute little decorative, beret type of hat. That's all it is. Are you absolutely positive? Okay, all right. It's your character. That's you can play however you want. That's the beauty of a game like this, is that it's really completely up to you. Maybe some people it shouldn't be completely up to. Oh well, that's no. I'm sure it'll be great. You'll have lots of fun playing as your undead swamp hag bard with your stick and your mushroom hat. Okay, well, let's get this on you, I guess. There we go. Just gonna place that just like that. Okay. Are you sure you like that? All right. No, it's your character. Okay. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Next, let's select your animal companion. Every player gets to start with a companion. Each companion has different pros and cons. Some companions are excellent fighters, but they may be a bit more temperamental or require more care or food. Other companions may not be good fighters, but could increase your skill. The tortoise, for example, is not very good in a fight, but will grant you a +1 to all wisdom checks. You may choose from a dragon, a pegasus, a unicorn, a tortoise, a jaguar, a bat. Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. The game has selected, oh, worm? Worm. I didn't even know that was an option. Is there a worm in here? Oh, there you are. Hey, little guy. It's a worm. It's just a worm. That's what it is. Maybe it gives you something cool. Maybe it helps to increase. Oh, you get +1 to fishing. That's ironic. Okay, well, that's. You could start the game with a baby dragon if you want. And you're gonna stick with the worm? Are you absolutely sure? There are such cool options here. Worm. You want the worm in a jar of dirt. Worm. Okay, it's your character. Here's your jar with a worm in it. I'm pretty sure it's still in there. Yeah, okay, there's your worm. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. Now, let's select your magical item. Each player gets to begin the game with one magical item of their choice. Each magical item will increase a specific statistic for you. Okay, now, I know that we've been doing this whole randomizing thing, like really, really hardcore on the randomizing thing, but I would really, really encourage you to, think about this one a little bit, because there are some really cool options here. Okay, let me just show you some of them. Okay, please, let's just go through them first so that you can actually see them. No, don't hit the button yet, please. Let me show you. Okay, now there are lots of different rings of power. There are some that can increase your fighting or increase your spell casting, all different kinds of things that these can do, or increase your defense. Yeah, this one can actually make you invisible for a short amount of time. Super cool, okay? Or there's also, there's this one. There's lots of different amulets in the game too. Now this one can help, this is an earth amulet, or an amulet of the earth elemental. And this one can increase any sort of spells that you cast that have to do with the earth. Yeah, it's really, really powerful. This can also help to substitute for different runes and different things that you need in the game. Really useful to start out with a cool amulet like this, all right? Or if you want something with a little more character, maybe, there's also this cool shell. This is the shell of oceanic wisdom. Okay, so you can consult your shell once a day and you can get a +1 to any sort of wisdom checks that you're making. Yeah, super, super useful. That is just really pretty. Or if you don't like that, there's also the Orb of Pondering. All right, now this one, you can consult this once per day and you can get an increase to any sort of knowledge or history check, anything like that. There are a lot of different things that this little orb can help you with, all right? There are some really, really cool options. So, based on the rest of everything that you got going on here, maybe you want to put a little bit of thought into... Oh, would you like to randomize your selection? Great. Randomizing. The game has selected. I didn't even know this was an option. Okay. This is... Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure that this... It's a rubber ducky. Everyone needs a little magical rubber ducky. What does this even do? It's the rubber duck of joy. Oh, okay. So it increases any sort of rolls that you make that has to do with deception when you're trying to do something that would make someone happy. I guess. It's really specific. And I mean, it's something. There are so many cooler options. Are you absolutely sure? I mean, I know that it's fun to use the randomizer button, but you don't have to use it all the time. Okay. All right. Here's your rubber ducky of joy. I'll take the orb of pondering and the elemental amulet and the ring of power and everything else back. You get the rubber ducky. Great. Just awesome. Great. Yeah. Great. You know what? Great. Okay. Are you happy with your selection? Great. Let's move on. You have reached the end of character creation. Feel free to review your choices. You're welcome to go back and change anything that you would like before you finalize your character. Really, you can go back and change anything that you want. You can change it all if you want. You don't have to stick with all of these choices. Just because it's fun to see what the options are with the randomize button. You don't have to stick with it. You really, really don't. There are so many amazing options with this game. There are so many cool choices. You can be anybody that you want to be. Are you sure you are ready to finalize your character? Great. You know what? I bet that you're gonna have a lot of fun. You seem like the kind of person that, you know what? Just who cares, right? There are so many amazing things that you can do in this game. I'm sure even an undead swamp hag bard with a stick and a mushroom hat and a worm and a rubber ducky. You're gonna be great. And you know what? That's what it's about, isn't it? It's about just having fun. You play the game the way that you want to play the game. I'll play the game the way that I want to play the game. And I bet we're both gonna have fun doing it. Alright, you know what? You have fun, adventurer. See you next time.